Hello, I'm Liz Lumley, and this is Finextra at Sibos. And today I'm sitting down with Thibaud de Maintenant of Deutsche Bank. Now, Thibaud, your boss, Satvinder Singh, is speaking at Sibos this week about reinventing the custody model due to all the sort of massive amount of changes from the commercial and regulatory space. What is your take on this?
So I think this is a very topical question. I think we are all at Sibos here. It's a very exciting. When you look at the custody model right now, there is one side of it which is very challenged, is especially on the margin side. Margin is rather thin. At the same time, you face a lot of costs, new costs. So cost of adapting regulation, but as well cost of investment. So if we just take an example, we're investing more than 30 million into T2S across a few years to make that simple adaptation. So there is a fair amount of dialogue around the industries, how to reorganize ourselves between the end client, the ultimate beneficiary from that, the agent, ourselves, and as well the infrastructure. And I think what we are seeing now is a complete redesign of who is going to do what, and it's a form of reinvention, of redesigning the way we service our client and the way clients want to be serviced. So part of the process might want to resource themselves and go straight to the market, and then on the other side to help and having the benefit of our local expertise. So change in terms of the way the service is manufactured, but as well change in maybe in the fee pricing scheme, where you could see some parts which are more commoditized at a low price, but as well other parts which are probably a bit more risky, where some of that risk could be manufactured in the price. So clearly a good change in the industrial landscape.
So what about T2S? What impact is that going to have on the custody market?
So I think it's a very large impact. I mean, first of all, custody is not a hobby anymore. I mean, if you have only one market, it's difficult to talk about T2S. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the level of investment is very serious, which means that it's testing time for the provider at the time where some of the top line can be challenged in this low interest rate. You have to do a lot of investment for T2S as well as for cost of regulation. So it's a great time for collaboration actually, and I think as Deutsche Bank what we're doing is investing a lot in terms of shaping the industry, being part of all market advocacy committees, and really driving the industry. A good example would be the fact that we are heading up some forum, especially on direct connectivity. So clearly, great timing. I think there is a sense of excitement at Sibos around T2S because now we can see the light.
I think this year, more than other years, I've heard a lot of people talk about T2S.
Now there's a light of the tunnel. People start to see some of the benefits, and people start as well to understand, because there's so much dialogue about who is going to do what and what model will benefit more. So I think that's really a great achievement from last year.
As I mentioned, T2S is a top topic of conversation at Sibos. So, but what impact will this have on the larger industry? Are we likely to see other regions emulate it?
Clearly there is a trend. I think the common trend that we can see is really collaboration. So what you see in T2S is a massive collaboration between infrastructure, agent and client. And you see a same level of cooperation on different areas, but in Asia, for example. We like this dialogue between public and private sector. So we put out there a lot of ideas. So we publish a post-trade ideas for the Southeast Asia, which is a great story in terms of, if you look at the dynamic of Southeast Asia, the 6 countries, clear demographic, clear growth, and as well this willingness to put some level of trading together. And what we are providing is ideas, how can you help then on a post-trade, and how can you help the settlement, can you help the custody, so that people can really benefit from more consolidation and more harmonization. So that's really one trend here, and I think as well going for more efficiency in the industry. I think when that the good side about the crisis is actually it forced people to go more together and recognize that actually a lot of things that we are doing are non-competitive and can improve for the benefit of the full picture. So we see very active as well in in the redesign of some part of the industry, especially on the flow. If you look at some of the flow between, if you are the buy side and you have 10 brokers, and you look at the settlement where it goes around, there is clearly a lot of work that we are doing right now as Deutsche Bank in terms of trying to net that flow before it goes to settlements, so that it reduces risk, it reduces the number of settlement, and it reduces the cost for the industry. And I think we'll see more and more of that. So I think the global trend for collaboration is clearly what we're seeing right now.